Get it right at Morning Cafe. I have the best minds for this conversation. Kama kawaida will be having a whiteboard just to introduce our guest this morning. On my left, Dr. Stephen Gashie, an economist. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, good to be here. And also nice to meet my fellow panelists.
Who is Dr. Stephen Gashie?
Well, many things, but for this one, I want to be modest. Well, I'm an economist. I teach at the university. I'm a fellow at the university in the UK, faculty within the East Africa, a consultant within business management, expert, M&E, hold a brief for the World Bank project within East Africa, West Africa, and a good time to talk about financial product because about 4 years ago, I was a lead consultant within East Africa for World Bank project, which was looking at financial education and literacy. One of the key findings of the study is that about 30%, only 30% of East Africans are financial literate.
So 70%
we are in the dark.
Financially illiterate.
Most of us, we are swimming. Either we are not doing savings, we don't know about the insurance, we don't know how to manage our credit. When we borrow for issues that maybe they don't bring value. We want to borrow to go for holiday, to take some dowry to my sister here, many things. So I think it's a good morning to break down such.
Oh, yes. And as well, do have Jacqueline Buru, a financial advisor. So who's Jacqueline?
So Jacqueline Buru is a financial advisor. I've been doing this for the last 7 years. That's more than half a decade, right?
Three-quarter
decade. Yes. So in this journey of being a financial advisor, I've encountered so many Kenyans. Making money is not a problem, but understanding the financial products, what tool do I use where, that is the biggest challenge. So this is a good morning to demystify all these products.
Oh, yes. And back at home, remember, you can always be part of this conversation. Dr. here says only 30% financially literate. Are you part of that 30%? Amoko kwa ingine 70% in the whole dark. Do you really understand finance when it comes to finance, understanding your wallet? And just also to prep both of you psychologically, we'll be walking to a whiteboard right here to understand business. So both of you are our two teachers of the day, our two business teachers. Kama haitaingia, so look for a pen and paper right now. I'm advising you. Look for pen and paper, I have mine, and just scribble and what when it comes to financial products. But first off, someone watching us this morning, they're wondering, what are financial products, Secretary?
I think you made a breakdown. It's just about breaking about money. What is it you do? Okay, of course you know how you get your money. How do you get your money? How do you get to spend? How do you get to invest? How you get to save? Where? Why? When? I think basically that is it. And of course the issue of how do you budget? What are your priorities? If you want to invest, do you want to go to land very quickly and buy a piece of land in Marindi? You have no problem. Or do you think maybe a treasury bill, a treasury board will give you more income? If you want to, you have your credit card and you are walking down Moi Avenue or Kenyatta Avenue and you see this good pair of shoes going for about 10,000 or even less. Do you land quickly and give it to and ask for the PDQ and swap you and say, okay, let me carry the shoe home? Or do you want to first clear school fees for your children? Or do you want to maybe have that's 20,000 and there is maybe you go to look at Nairobi Security Exchange and think there is an offering that you are looking and say, oh, look, now that the economy is depressed and the equity for one of the blue chip companies is affordable. Do you want to put your 20,000 there, or do you rather, because it's Valentine, you take your other?
In this generation, we call it Yompoa.
Yompoa. I'm learning. Yes. Do you want to take your Yompoa to Nanyuki, Mwisho wa Leli, and spend your 20,000? I think it's basically that when it's broken down. Or do you get to budget your money? How much liter you get, so that you know which basket do you put what. I think that is, or do you, when you're sitting in the home and instead of buying your airtime, you just, what do you call it, you borrow, saying that you have unique habits when it comes to calling.
Yeah.
You get someone sitting in the couch watching a movie, and he just okoa jahazi for 100 shillings, and you get to pay how much? What is 10% of that?
100.
10 shillings?
Yeah, 10 shillings.
So if you multiply 10 shillings times 30, it's 300. Times a year, go to thousands. Basically, that is what you're talking about. How do you deal with your financial perspectives?
So Buru, now, assuming it now in Kenya, what are some of the most common used financial products?
Financial products first, there are financial vehicles. So these are tools that have been designed to meet different needs. It could be a short-term need, a medium-term need, or a long-term need. So the commonly known one is like M-Shwari, where people prefer putting their money in M-Pesa, and they have no idea how much interest that earns. But there are more other complex financial vehicles that a person can use, but it all goes back to what Daktari has said, understanding why am I putting my money here, what is the need that I want to achieve.
Right. So now I want to dive into matters, because I mean, you talk about the whole M-Shwari and all, brings about the whole conversation of now opening an account. And even the bigger, demographic watching us, and they're like, maybe they get hand to mouth, they get something little, but then now they really want to get into that space that they can get whatever little they have into an account. So really getting into opening an account. And I want us to break down into the kind of different types of accounts. And this is a point that we do start our practical classes as we stand up. Yes, this is a pen. We say ladies first. Ama tuanze na daktari.
Okay.
Okay, ladies first. So yes, so here's a pen. So we can start off with basically starting an account and opening an account. What should be in your mind at that time?
So what should be in your mind is first the income that you're generating, because without an income you can't save anything. So the income could be from either salary, whether you're earning a wage or monthly income, even from as little as we've seen the guards the other day. We had a debate of them being increased their pay to 30,000 Kenya shillings, or even just a house girl who earns, let's say, 7,000, 15,000, that salary, or even a daily wage, or if you're in business, that could be your business income. Then now from your salary, take 10% of that. So if you're earning 30,000, that is 3,000.
Right.
So accumulate the 3,000. We can even do, let's say, something like the 52 weeks challenge to 52 weeks challenge. Yeah. To at least give somebody the discipline to save before you go to complex kind of saving plans. So the 10%.
And even so let's have an hypothetical here of how much someone will be earning. Let's say even the askari, they're probably earning, let's say, 15K. So how much should they be saving, let's say, each week? For
so in a month, that is, askaris, they earn on a monthly basis, so that is 1,500.
Okay.
Because it's a thing of delayed gratification and doing away with instant gratification. So if you save 1,500 per month, then let's say for M-Shwari, I think they give around 6%.
Yeah, 6%.
Something of the sort. So times 6% for that whole year, you can imagine how much you'll have at the end of of the year. Then come December, you can do a decent shopping for your people back in the village. And come January, it will not be January, it will be...
So, okay, so here we put is equals to, and because both of you are Molimo maths here, how much is this, real quick maths?
That would be about, if you go 10%, that would be 150. If you go, that would be 75 shillings. That would be about, maybe about 1,500. That about, is it 80 shillings? It's about 80 shillings because 10% is 150, 5% is 75, 1% is about 5 or 1.5. That's about 85 shillings there.
Okay, so in a year that will be, so 3 times 6, that is 1,800.
Yep.
So you have your 18,000, that is what you saved, and then 6% of it is, or you can even do, that comes to?
Computing.
Maths.
Okay.
Molimo maths.
You want to put 80,000 times...
times 6%.
0.06 is
Yes.
1080.
1080.
1080.
So plus 1080, that comes to 19,080 at the end of the year.
19,080.
Yes.
So this is technically what someone would have saved.
Exactly. Instead of eating your 15,000 every month. So at the end of the year, you have 1980. This is money that you can even use to even start a small side business for your spouse. Yeah.
So now getting into the meat of our conversation right now.
Or savings. If you go to savings account, meaning you'll be paying more money as a ledger fee, the way they used to call it, and all those fees to maintain the account. So that if you stay like for 4 or 5 months without putting anything there, actually they're asking you to top up, or they take you to Credit Reference Bureau because you owe the bank.
And the withdrawal fee.
Withdrawal fee. If you go to savings account, then that is where maybe you're not paying ledger fee and all that, but they're also paying a percentage of interest on the money in the bank, maybe close of the month or close of the year. So you need to choose which account you need to go. When you look at a fixed account is that you put your money there for a term. I'm looking for someone, well, it will depend on like what my sister says, the income. Because you're looking for maybe when you have a bit of income where you push your money there and you go and negotiate for the interest payable to you. The more money you have, the more the ability you have to negotiate for interest. Fixed account from 6% to the high of now 12% or 10%, depending where you put your money. The normal financial bank, they will negotiate. There is mutual funds and all that. So that is the difference. That fixed account, you put your money maybe for 2-3 years, then you accrue interest plus the principal. However, it will depend on how much you are putting. If you go to the fixed account, you need to look at this whole spread. If you go to mutual funds, how much they asking? Maybe 80%.
Right.
A bank, maybe 10%. If you want to invest in treasury bill or bond, then you'll be thinking, do I put my money on a fixed account, get 10%, or do I kopesha the government and I get 70% current now? Right.
But you have to wait every 6 months. You have
the government pays every 6 months, and the interest.
Okay. And now because you mentioned bonds, we'll be getting into that later on because, it's always a whole conversation Kenyans have, getting into treasury bonds, getting into even buying bonds and all that. But then they don't really understand. So how do you actually now do it? We'll get to that and analyze it really here now practically. But then I want us to take some statistics from Statista, an independent firm, and they say so the whole most used financial products. So number one is what we are now getting into the savings, and it was about 63%. So it was the whole short term versus long term. So this is as of June 2023. It's data collected from April all the way to June. Loans came in at 44%, checking accounts at 40%, credit cards at 29%, insurance with an investment element at 23%, for example, life insurance, cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin. You remember WorldCoin? This also falls here, 18%. Equity investment stocks at 18% and real estate 18%. Kuna zingine pale chini, mortgages at about 5%. So the reason I'm taking a look at some of this is because we'll be diving into these financial products.
Okay.
And really understanding why savings is at 63%, but then now loans is at about 44%. And that's where now I want you, Daktari, to be our next mwalimu here.
Okay.
Thank you.
And now really talk about loans.
Okay.
Because, I mean, right now, Daktari, loans are so easy to get at the top of the button.
No monopoly of knowledge. If I don't tell you, someone else be. And with a lot of technology advancement now, knowledge has become so available. It's not there. You remember those lecturers who had the yellow notes? That it's only me who know. Today, when we are doing a topic in a class, in fact, most of the students or your learners, they're ahead of you. And especially...
With all your knowledge.
Of course, especially, you know why? I supervise a lot of masters and PhD students.
Yes.
And when you are doing your master's program, you are the authority in that area. I don't know. So you get to teach me. What I'm doing is just facilitating and supervising you. For example, if you pick a topic on factors influencing loans uptake in Kenya, maybe you have thought about it, you've researched about it. For me, I know the face value, you know, on the surface. For you get to get the deep dive and come and tell us, this is it. So a lot of us, we get to learn from you people. And that's the fun.
Real quick before you get into loans, are you the kind of professors who, even if it's one student in class, where utaendelea tu kufunza?
No, yeah, of course. You know, by the way, when you get to supervision, it's you and I. So everything stops. It's you, you're my student, and I need you to go to the next level. Whether you are 2 or 3, but when you are 10 is better. Than because when you have one, you have like almost a dialogue between of you, but and the pool of knowledge is constrained. I mean, normally I say, for knowledge to grow, there has to be a dispute. I need to say something and then say, no, Dr. Daktari, I think we should have done it differently. That is how you grow knowledge. Yep.
All right, now let's get into loans and really understand how, even as a financial product, how really Kenyans get into it. And first of all, I think we'd really start with, so at what point should you even know that you actually need a loan? And you know, the kind of different loans that we do have.
You see, that's what I said. By the time, either you're getting a loan to capitalize your business, which is good. That would be a case. Sorry. Maybe also you are getting a loan to go back to school. You get a loan, some of us, we get a loan to go to a holiday. Others go get a loan to go and buy a car. You get a loan, medical. You know, so it will depend on what is that's pushing you to get a loan. I think that is, and most of the young people, of course, you'll get fuliza quickly, so that you do shelehe during the weekend, and then you pay on Tuesday, then on Thursday again you fuliza, you do shelehe. It will depend on what is that you want to do with the loan. And of course, as I said, what informs you the best is the cost.
Maybe to add on that, also the time.
Oh, and of course,
the time to pay back.
Time frame, time to pay. Okay? Time to pay back. The shorter the loan, the more expensive. And that's why you see someone will fuliza during the day, pay, but is it 70%, 9%?
Yes.
But
and the quicker it is to get, the more expensive.
If you compute that within a month, it's more than 30% of what you're borrowing. However, it is the pain is shorter because it's within a week, and maybe you're looking about maybe even 1,000 shillings. You get 1,000 shillings, you take 9%, that's about 90 shillings. So within a month, if you compute that, you'll have paid almost near, what is the terminology used for the phone?
The digital lending.
Digital lenders. And now for the digital lenders, what should we, for example, you really want to take a loan for 50 and you've downloaded a few, not even, don't really even have to mention that, but then you've downloaded digital lender X, Y, Z, and the three of them. What should you be looking for when you really want to take this loan? I
think you should look at the cost and the time to pay back. And in most cases, you'll find from different case studies, people who've taken up these different digital loans, it's like you're digging a hole for yourself. So you're taking a loan from lender X to pay lender Y. And because you don't have even a good purpose as to why you are taking the loan. So you end up digging your own hole. So you're always in debt, and there's no progress.
So even as Dr. continues, so how do you, even for the digital lenders, how do you remove yourself from this rabbit hole that you've really ensnared yourself in?
That's what I said. You used to call it lobbying Peter to pay Paul.
Yes.
I think we need to cure that culture because it's not good. Because if you look at how much you borrow from the digital lenders and what you get to do with the money, well, I've seen a lot of the micro and small entrepreneurs. They are very good. SMEs. They are very good on this because you get a mama boga, if I may, who goes to Marikiti in the morning, borrow in the morning, maybe 2,000 shillings, gets to buy her stock, and the evening, she's made about 500 shillings and paid up. That is perfectly in order, despite the high percentage of the interest, because there is value. You can accrue value from the loan. Yeah. However, there is the other one, our daughters and our sons, who borrow because they want to go for lunch. Or you've gone for a date, you've lunch out of money, then you quickly go to the app. You cannot be able to, you are in need. So you cannot negotiate because you want the money. So even 15%, or even Shylock, as I say, even 30%, you'll borrow because you want to pay lunch. However, the following week, even if it look like, look like little amount of money, that's what I said, if you get to sit down, and that is where Kenyans, we don't have the discipline to compute the figures. You've got to sit down and see how much you are spent on interest. You'll be surprised. Get your M-Pesa or mobile money statement. Compute how much you've sent, how much you received. Have to those columns in and out.
And now, I want to have a hypothetical. One for, as you say, Bamamboga, or some of the people who do hand-to-mouth for the day they've got the business, and another hypothetical for someone who waits for the money to get in a bank account at the end of the month, the payroll. Now for both hypotheticals, both of them depend on the digital lenders quite oftenly. But then how can both of them really and individually get into, let's say they're used to the borrowing habit, how can they get themselves out? Because for the one who in salary, they'd say, wacha ningoje nilipe ingine yenye tabaki and I use on spending. Or rather, the one in business probably would say, let me now burn the midnight oil and ensure I've sold a lot so that the profits I can actually have them on and pay whatever I'm owed.
Loan is good. That people think loan is perfectly good. It will depend. Why do you borrow? So for Mama Boga, perfect to borrow because you are capitalizing your business. For the end of month salaried with a pay slip, it will depend on why are you borrowing and how much are you earning. Because again now, you don't want to dig a hole that is deeper than the soil that you used to fill. Yeah. The soil is how much, you used to say the money, vehicles are luxury. Now have become part of mobility as we move from place to place. So what I usually say when you look at the loans, it will depend on why, and that's why the issue of financial literacy comes in. Why you are buying, you are borrowing from where, what time do you want to pay? Is it a short term or is it a long term? For what use? And do you have any other source of money? Because we normally ask that way. If you go to the bank, they look at your, they'll do the, look at the financials and actually they'll tell you now, my brother, you want 100,000, but we can only give you 20. Then you need to ask yourself, do you need to take the 20 or decline? A lot of us, we don't decline loans, which is in order. Because if you're looking for 100,000, 200,000, and someone tells you, I'll give you 30, and you wanted 200,000 so that you can capitalize your business or start a business, will 30 do? Because that is the question. Or do I take whatever, what comes? What has happened within the space of the loan, because of the government borrowing from the domestic borrowing, we are getting what we call the crowding effect, that a lot of individuals are not able to go here. Because the manager is asking, why would I need to chase you to pay what I know for sure the government will pay at the end of the term? So probably they will ask, they might
be in a circle, but before you actually sign for a person, you also need to look at the money habits of the person that you're guaranteeing. Otherwise, you'll find yourself taking up another loan to pay this loan that you had guaranteed somebody who you did not consider their money habits and maybe they defaulted, or you work with them in this institution but you never actually even confirmed with the HR and maybe they were a ghost worker. So they get the loan in form of millions or several thousands and they disappear. We've had such kind of cases, if you ask on the ground.
So how do you now do the due diligence of before you become the guarantor? How do you do the due diligence?
If we are working together, assuming we've interacted, let's say for a year, within that year, I'll have known what kind of money habits that you have. So if you're the person who just spends, you don't even think of tomorrow, then I'll definitely not put a signature on the loan form that you bring. Because what happens in most organizations, you just bring the loan circle application, hey, please sign for me over here. So you just sign without considering all those kind of things.
All right.
Okay, I was scribbing,
yes,
and I agree with my sister. By the time you get to guarantee someone a circle, there are a lot of incidences where I guarantee you, you don't pay, then my savings are eaten up. So I agree with her. You get to know who is it I'm going to guarantee. Digital, they are good, but we need to have a lot of discipline, especially this one. And I think that is where we need to change the culture. It's almost become a disease. It's like betting now, because you wake up in the morning, there is all these apps, which they haven't done any background check about you or due diligence to know when you pay, but maybe what they get to buy for you. So they add value for that item at home. You wanted to add within your home, but you get to save now that money and you do something else. Shared value because it is for your best interest that all of you are together, because there is that value you share within the group that will make you cohesive. Of course, there is this one. I don't know whether you are Pride. Hassan Afad. It's also another source that you start little, then you keep growing. So a lot of these, some of...
Also, number 6, you can add the life insurance policies.
Of course, life insurance.
Yeah.
And now, because now, as you talk about now insurance, that's a whole other conversation that I want us to get into and discuss, because I'm pretty sure there's not only insurance, life insurance, I'm pretty sure we'll also be adding health insurance,
yes,
car insurance, and others. I want us to also dive into insurance for a bit. But then remember, you can always be part of this conversation. We're asking you, we're talking about 30% people being financially illiterate, rather literate. Are you in the 70% or financially illiterate? Do you really understand your finances? You can be part of this conversation. You can also call in live. The number is 0795045864. Throw in those questions that you have to experts here and ask them all types of questions that you have concerning matters finances. Let's get into now insurance. All right, you can just have... Yeah.
So what about insurance?
So now let's get into now insurance as a financial product. First off, what is an insurance?
Insurance, how it works, it's like a harambe. But harambe to bring you back to the position you were before the incident happened. So let's take an example of one of our major roads, let's say Thika Road. So you have a new car that you've bought. Previously, we just talked about loans.
Yeah.
So you have a new car that you got through a loan from X bank or X Sacco. Then you have a comprehensive insurance. It was before the incident happens. That way you'll not, again, take a loan to take your car to the garage. But if you had, let's say, something like a third party, the first question you'll be asked is, were you hit or did you hit somebody? So for third party, it covers for that other person. So if you were hit, then that means you use your money to go to the garage and service your car. So insurance basically works as a harambe. This car has not been hit, so if mine is hit, then the insurance pays me. Like that.
Let me ground, also help my sister to ground it. A lot of us, we don't do what we call the risk heat map. Risk heat map is to map out the risk that surrounds you day to day. For example, if you're a driver, the most highest risk is an accident. If you're fundi wa mjengo, the most highest risk is either to fall from the top there or object falling on you.
Right.
Okay? If you are a chef, the highest risk principle is the fire.
Daktari, hold that thought there. I want us to pick this call from Kennedy. Kennedy, habari asubuhi, and asante sana for calling us this morning. Do you have any questions for our guest this morning? Or rather, what is your input, maoni yako ni yepi, in our conversation this morning?
Okay, I'm Kenotina from Bondo. Just had this request about the topic going on. Now, first they started with the account.
Yes.
When they started with the account, they just mentioned the salary people, they skip it. Now we've gone to the second part about the loans. They've listed all these types where we can get these loans. And then after that, they've just skipped to insurance. I think in maths and the things to do with the finances, figure do what. We have circles, all those things which they mentioned. Like the gentleman started saying that this digital lending is a bit expensive when you look at it towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
But listing them down, but without finance, let's work with figures. When you work with figures, they can direct you. But listing them down like this, is just easier to go to the Google, then you see them. So I'm kindly requesting, I had my notebook even, because the things you have listed are obvious. But cutting the financial figures account, maybe we have saving, we have current, and then let them guide us. Only that for now.
All right. All right, asante sana Kennedy for that.
Okay, we'll get back. So basically what my sister is saying, when you look at all those risks, the insurance is the umbrella that covers you when it gets to rain. It is basically that.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the listener or the one who is watching, I think I mentioned about a different current account. Current account is for everyone, even for those who are salaried. It will depend on what you are looking for. For those who are in business, savings, again, it will depend on your choice. Basically, those are the most key accounts. What a lot of the finance to blend it to be.
So in the whole realm of opening an account, those are the basics.
Those are the basics. Although there's now, when you go to want to trade in Nairobi Stock Exchange, there is a CDS account. That is where you want to trade your different other type of financial account.
Right.
Where you may accrue money or get to sell or get some money in it.
Right. Kennedy, hope umejibiwa. Rather, if not, you can look for Daktari Kando and get more insights on this. Remember, you can always be part of this conversation, 0795045864. Call in, ask us all those questions that you have concerning matters finances. Back to matters insurance. He says it's that umbrella that you use in case it's raining. So let's have the different types of umbrellas that can really have, and even the whole demographic of 18 years to about 35. For an 18-year-old, or rather even a 20-year-old, they've got a job, or rather even they have the hand-to-mouth, for both hypotheticals, for someone in the salary and someone in business. For someone as young as 20 years old, should they even be thinking about insurance?
Yes, they should, because insurance, mostly it's actuarial based. So the younger you are, we assume you have lesser risks, and the younger you are, the better the returns. So I can do this small illustration. So I want us to look at life in 4 phases. So this is how life is. So let's divide this into 4. So here we have 0 to 20. So at this stage, this is where we are dependent on our parents. So we are playing,
guardians, and all that.
And all that. Then somewhere here, if in Kenya at 25, maybe that's the time that you're graduating. So you have 25 all the way to 40. So at this time here, you're 40, own their first houses. It could be mortgage. So
kids as well?
Yeah, kids as well. Then,
anything, Doctor, you are forgetting?
No, we are good to go.
Yeah. You also have your first car. So you're 20. Insurance is key. Then 40 to 60. Here now you're doing an upgrade of
whatever is here.
Of whatever is here. But when you get to 60, the only option that you have is to retire. Like in Kenya, the retirement age is 60. So lastly here, it's 80. So here you're dependent on your parents, here you're earning an income. Then when you get to 60 to 80, you're dependent. So here you either become dependent to the government of Kenya or to your community or even to your own children.
So this is where the discussions of pension and now starts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other way we can see is if you want to be moving around the country Kenya and enjoying the nature that we have, is you'll be living now on the investments that you had done here. So if you look at insurance, mostly the investment plans that are within insurance are normally long-term. So you can imagine if you are at 30, and you take maybe a 25-year plan, so it will come in here around 55. So you can save even as little as 3,000, or let's say your 10% products, which can help facilitate this life. How I look at insurance is from womb and post the tomb. Doctors will say they give service from womb to tomb, but insurance, it's from the womb all the way post tomb. Because before you were born, health insurance comes in place. When you are born, education policy comes into place. When you start working, you have other investment plans that you can take within the insurance. When you retire, you have a pension plan that you had taken within an insurance company, which will help you facilitate life within this period. And when you're dead, you have a trust fund within the insurance company, which will help do generational
other generations who are coming. So now, Dr. I want us to focus on this demographic between 20 years old to about 25, and even getting into 30, your age bracket hapo. And we getting back to the same question. So it's a 20-year-old. They want to get into business, wameenda pale Gikomba kutafuta kamera nini hizo zote, ama hata ni smoky mayai, that kind of business. Or they've got their first job, probably into internship, they probably paid, let's say 10,000. What kind of insurance should they be looking for at the first instant?
Well, the younger you are, you're able to buy a very competitive policy because the risk is minimal. Is how much it will cost you. So anyone there's a lot of products that are available for whatever you're doing. even the footballer. You can imagine a very good footballer who breaks his leg.
His leg, yeah.
That is his source of income. So what are you going to do for the next 2 years before you go to rehabilitation and you go back to playing? Maybe you just needed to pay 500 shillings.
To have a disability benefit.
You know? And if you, it means that you never play again, then some insurance will take care of that until what my sister Bob was saying to the top.
Right. So now because we're really out of time discussing into
let me finish
class.
a quick one.
Okay.
The fire at Ebakasi.
Oh, yes.
Do you know it costs about 4,000 shillings to take care of your households? And you get to be paid all that you lost. But a lot of people, that's what saying financial literacy. Wherever you stay, it might cost you 2,000 shillings to have a policy that will cover all that when something like that happens.
I want us to dive into what I had said and I alluded earlier, bonds and the whole different types of bonds. Victoria, I can invite you over.
Okay.
Because we're really out of time, just to produce some of them that, and even advising.
I'll do a quick.
People who really want to get into
Okay.
the bonds. If you can flip this one,
Okay.
or just.
We'll do it.
Yes.
Okay. The interest is between maybe 6% to 7% to 8%. Okay. Could be 90 days, 180 days, or 360. Is it or 360 days? That would be. They are short, and you get to lend to the government, and they will get your interest and your principal later. Both quickly, what you need to do is very simple for both. You just need to have a CDS account with the central bank, or you go to your stock broker, or even to your bank. They will buy for you. Currently, I think it's 19%
Yes.
interest. So long term, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you get to get your interest within 6 months. The 90% of the value of what you put in, very good.
Right.
So normally say there's what we call debt capital. And I want to tell Kenyans, we learn very quickly to buy a piece of land for 1M when you are 25. And you'll jenga when you're 45. Okay? How many years?
It's about 20 years.
20 years, and you are happy when you're having a drink, you're having lunch. I bought something in Malindi. Komahari.
It's appreciating.
If you look, you need to look at the value of appreciation, and if you had brought that 1 million here for 3 years, 7%. If you have an investment and it's not giving you 7%, 7% minimum is a debt capital, because you have an alternative where you get that money.
All right. Due to time, Dr. Moore, I'll have your final thoughts. You can just stand there. Give us your final thoughts.
Well,
how can we, from the 30%, and have more people have that percentage even rise upwards?
No, we need to be very financial, especially during these economic hard times. We need to be very financial literate. It's what you do with your money, your income, budget for it. If you want to get a loan, for what? Insurance, look at the risk around you and put something there. But the most important, let's have the culture of saving. However retro, there is no retro when it comes to savings. Even 1 shilling makes a difference. And that's why we have what we call piggy banks.
Yes.
Where you put your, where you put your, if you go to your car, there are a lot of shillings there. If you add them, it will be 100 shillings. What is the value of 100 shillings today?
Maura, your final thoughts.
Yeah, they can reach out to experts like I, as long as that person is willing to save at least a 1/10 of their income. I'm willing to help them.
Close.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as that person is willing to save at least a 10% of their income, I'm willing to help them. And there are so many experts like I and Mwalimu who can help. So reach out to experts to avoid being duped.